I'm good at chess or play Sudoku, and for God's sake, you can stop buying me these. Okay? Yeah. And, you know, actually, I don't like the colour of these. They're like quite garish and loud, a bit camp, flamboyant. I guess you could call me chromophobic. I can say that because, you know, beige.
Get the fuck out of here.
Just don't put the light on.
You're still black in the dark, Maria. I'm still black in the dark. Oh shit, the police! Fitzgerald, you turn the light, motherfucker! They gonna get us!
It really sucked being stepdad to God's kid, you know what I mean? Every now and again he's like, Jesus, don't talk to your mother like that! And Jesus is like, I'll talk to her any way I want. Joe.
Hi, I'm Marcus, and I'm the idiot on the comedy circuit. I've asked a group of comedians some questions on how to start and succeed in the world of stand-up comedy. Subscribe to this channel to see what their answers were, as well as to chart my progress on stage, be it crushing or crashing. More likely the latter than the former. You can also follow my progress on social media. I am ION Comedy on Twitter and ION Comedy Circuit on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Here is today's video.
I've only really had it once directly at me, and that's when just a lady was talking over, and I think the only comeback I could think of was like, oh, could you please put your microphone close to your mouth? I can't quite hear you. I was like, oh wait, do you not have one? No, but there's a reason for that. That's okay. You stay in your space, I'll stay in mine. But yeah, I think there was one gig I did that I was invited to, and it was a real rough gig. None of us comedians realised until we were there that a football game had just finished, and I think Millwall were playing, and all the fans just came into the pub and they were real rowdy. I happened to get away with that because I think there were 15 of us comedians performing that night, and half of them had real bad heckles. One of them actually had this poor woman. She had someone yelling something racist at her. Fortunately, that person was kicked out of the pub. But I think the only reason I managed to get away with not being heckled is because the MC directly before I went up was just like, okay, you can heckle me, but not the performers. So managed to sort of get their attention a little bit, and then I was fine, and then the comedian after me was not fine. So I kind of managed to evade it, and I'm real nervous of inevitably when it does happen, because I feel like I'm not that witty, and I feel like I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, you're probably right, I probably should get off stage, okay, bye now. So I'm just waiting to have it happen. But I mean, unfortunately, it's something you've got to learn how to handle. So actually the comic who had the real bad racist heckle, we were all kind of talking as comedians afterwards, and we were just especially checking up on her to see if she was okay, and then just like everyone else. And she was just like, you know what, it's really good experience on how to handle it. And I mean, if it's not going to happen now, it's going to happen later. Just heckles in general, you hope not racist ones, but so actually the earlier you get used to it, the better. Because when you're sort of on a roll and you're good and your set's amazing, that's when, if someone heckles you and you're not prepared for it, that can really bring it down. So it's while you're learning, actually, getting used to heckles is probably good. I'm kind of lucky to evade it, but really I should start preparing some comebacks at some point.
Destroy them. You gotta destroy them, talk about them, their shoes, the shape of their head. They're probably got erectile dysfunction, and they're using this moment to talk on stage to make you feel better. The fact that you couldn't fire off when you were in bed last night, your wife doesn't like you, or you're divorced. You gotta say something to make them regret. I'm never gonna talk, because it's a warning to everyone else. I'm not talking at Brandon's show. He said something about that guy's mama, like, damn, his mama wasn't even around. She's dead. Why are you at a comedy show if your mama's dead? What is wrong with you people? Stop coming to comedy shows if your mama dead. But you have to destroy a heckler. You can't give them any type of leeway, or they'll keep coming at you. People come to your shows specifically to heckle you.
Yes, I do. There was this one gig I did, which was just in the top of a pub somewhere, and there was this woman who was very, very drunk, and she was heckling me from the side, but kind of just because she was like drunk, not because she was mean. And the day, like the week before, I'd been heckled, and I told the person to shut up. Like I'd be like, "Will you shut up?" like that, because she'd been talking the whole night, and the woman left, and I was like, I felt really bad. I was like, oh god, all I did was make this horrible feeling in the room, you know, like you know, ugh, you know, I just didn't want to do that ever again. So I talked to a comedian friend, and they were like, okay, here's what you do. You need to be nice to them. You need to charm them, because they're not expecting that, you know. And also because I'm low end, I'm like what do you call it? Low status on stage. I have a vulnerable, you know, mental health vulnerable kind of. I can't just start roasting people like Jimmy Carr, because that's not my style. So if I suddenly become aggressive on stage, it counteracts what I'm trying to create. So this friend of mine was like, okay, so what you do is you literally just kind of explain to her very nicely that she's ruining your show. And so then the week later when I was at this gig, I was doing this bit and I just happened to be wearing this brown fuzzy jumper that I have, and the woman said that it looked like it was made out of pubic hair, which really pissed me off. Do you know why it pissed me off? Because I came up with the perfect comeback on the bus leaving the gig. You know when it's the worst feeling when you're like, oh fuck. Because what I would have done is I would have just said, actually it's a blend. And that would have been like my one-liner, you know, and it didn't work. So, but then what I did was I thought, okay, this is my moment. I've got to charm her, you know. And I was like, listen. I got down on one knee. I literally got down on one knee. She was like in the front row, and I was like, listen, you're so wonderful and lovely, and I could listen to your voice all day. In fact, it's a voice that I could see myself listening to for the rest of my life. But I have 5 more minutes of jokes, and if you keep talking, I'm not going to be able to say any of those jokes. So just for the time being, just for that. And then after that, she was lovely. She actually her heckling had actually made me repeat a line and forget a joke. And I was like, does anyone want to hear the joke that I didn't get to say? And she was like, do it, tell the joke, you know what I mean? And then suddenly she was like the best, and she was like my cheerleader, you know, in the front row. And then after the gig, she came up to me and said, I just went outside and almost threw up from like, obviously, probably from, not just from, but she felt like, I didn't realize I was ruining the show. And thank you so much for being kind about it. Like, so she apologized and thanked me. And I was just like, I'm a fucking Jedi. What the fuck just happened? This woman was literally ruining the show, you know. And I think that's what, like, I think there's too much of people feeling like, oh, you just gotta shut them down. Like, and you know, if you're a high status comedian, definitely do that, because it works, you know. If you're like one of those savage comedians that can just like take someone down, you know. But my usual go-to is to kind of be nice, or to try and be nice, because they kind of don't know what to do with it. They expect you to be aggressive in return, and they kind of can't fuck with it if it's being nice. So I remember that one. That was quite a big one. Also the pubic hair thing. That sticks in the brain.
And that was today's video. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notification bell to be prompted when a new video comes out. And don't forget to follow me on social media, ION Comedy on Twitter and ION Comedy Circuit on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Okay, bye-bye.